I'm Caleb Giddings from Gun Nuts Media.
And I'm Joanne.
And you're watching part 2 of our video series on women's concealed carry. And I brought Joanne back today to talk about selecting a gun for concealed carry if you're a woman. If you're a guy watching this video, which according to my YouTube metrics, 98.2% of my audience are guys, and your girlfriend, wife, sister, female cousin, aunt, that covers it,
Pretty
right?
much, yeah.
All right. Says, hey, I want to get a gun for concealed carry, the first thing you need to do is shut your mouth. And I don't mean that as an insult or anything like that, but guys often will be very well-meaning, and they will give advice that works for them, but doesn't necessarily work for someone like you.
Right.
Have you had that happen to you before?
Yeah, a handful of times.
Well, I know in our previous video, one of the things that people asked about was how Joanne carries this FNS full-size. And I actually recommended this gun to you, didn't I? And it's a good gun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great gun.
Is it easy to conceal?
It's not. I'm slimmer, so it's hard to fit under a shirt.
So as you can see, with a full-size gun and an outside-the-waistband holster, Joanne really couldn't realistically conceal this gun. Now, I recommended it because it's reliable, it's accurate, and it's an excellent choice for home defense. However, in Joanne's particular situation, she doesn't necessarily have the options that I have to dress around a full-size gun to conceal it. Is that correct?
Right.
And we won't go into the whole details of your employment, but you work as a server, and you also work in professional sales, right?
Yep.
And in those environments, you can't really wear baggy clothes that would make it easier to hide that gun.
Right. Definitely not.
Okay. So when you're thinking about a gun, what do you want in a gun for concealed carry?
I want something that's not going to show as much through my clothes. Somewhere I can put it, like on my waist, it's hard. There's spots in front, and honestly, right under your boobs.
So that would be like the flashbang holster that Lisa Looper sells, and the flashbang holster is a completely different video. Which, if I want to start just an internet crap fight in my comments, which I do, because those are really good for the page views, we'll talk about that later. Some people love it, some people hate it, and I think that like a lot of alternative carry solutions, when you're dealing with shoulder holsters or holsters like that, there are advantages and disadvantages to it.
Right.
Absolutely. But in that situation, so if you're using a holster like the flashbang, you're probably not going to be able to fit a Glock 19 in there, are you?
No, definitely not. That's not going to fit.
So that brings us to our next category of discussion. And if you're a woman watching this video or a man watching this video with the intent to show it to your wife and say, honey, look, which, again, 98-point-something% of you, that's how this is going to go. We're going to go through the 3 different classes of carry guns. Now, what I've done is we have our full-size guns. So this, again, is going to be that FNS. This is about the same size as a Glock 17 or a Smith & Wesson M&P. I can carry this gun and conceal this gun easily. Joanne can too, and one of my good friends, Melody Lauer, who is a very slight woman, carries a Glock 19, which is a little bit smaller than this. But you actually have to put a lot of thought and effort into it, and I, as a professional firearms instructor, someone who works in the gun industry, have a lot more leeway with what I can do day to day with my outfits to conceal these guns than someone who doesn't.
Right.
And that's where we have to get real for a minute, because I constantly tell people, oh, dress around the gun, carry the right gun, but I need to acknowledge that Joanne's circumstances are different than mine, and Joanne may not be able to carry a Glock 19, or my personal favorite carry gun, the Beretta PX4 compact carry. This is not, again, necessarily a realistic-sized gun for someone like Joanne to carry at a restaurant or in an office, right? So what would you say your ideal choice would be? Like, if you're thinking you need something small, right? But it's got to be reliable.
Well, we talked about that Ruger a while ago. I like that one. I think that's a good size, and I also think it's a really good gun.
Well, and then we have, I know you've talked about this before in the past, the Glock 42.
Right.
That's one of our favorite guns. That's a 380 Glock. It's nice and compact. Joanne could even probably carry it under her area.
Probably.
And again, also there are a lot of options for this to be carried around the waistline and other areas, because that's going to print a lot less than the FNS or my Beretta or a similar sized gun, right? Joanne, tell me, when you go to a gun shop and you're looking for a gun for concealed carry, and I know you've been shopping around for a while, what are you looking for? And why, for example, does the FNS not work for your specific situation?
Well, I'm definitely looking for something smaller than the FNS. I like that gun. I like to carry that gun. You can't conceal it as well on, like, the clothes that I have, I can't conceal it as well. I'm looking for something smaller, more compact, but that still packs a punch that I need if I need it.
No, I totally get that. And that kind of brings me to a third point that I want to make. And it's something that, again, we often as enthusiasts and professionals lose sight of, is that the lifestyle that I've chosen, to work professionally in the firearms industry, to be in the military, to do that, leads itself to certain decisions. Not everybody wants to do that. Most people, and yourself included, you like guns, right?
Mm-hmm.
You like to shoot guns, right?
Yes.
Would you want to be on a gun range 2 hours a day, 4 days a week, training, working on your concealed carry skills, grinding, and basically putting in the same amount of effort at shooting that you do at sales, at your real job?
Realistically, probably not.
Exactly. And that's my point, is that a lot of people don't want to make the lifestyle compromises that I'm willing to make, that my friends are willing to make, because this to us is more than just a concealed carry item. This is very much a way of life. So in Joanne's case, the compromise is Joanne has the same right to self-defense that I do, correct?
Right.
You have the same inherent rights to own a firearm that I have. So what we see a lot is people like me who want to force our life choices on other people. And I'm guilty of it. I've told people, get a Glock 19, get 1,000 rounds of ammo, and go take a training class. That's not fun for everybody. You know, it's fun for me, but maybe not for you. You'd rather go snowboarding. I mean, okay, so actually here's a good example. If, let's see, Glock 19's $500, a case of ammo is $250, or $750, plus travel for the class, figure $1,000, all right? If you had $1,000, where on the list of things to do with $1,000 would be go to a professional shooting class?
Probably like 10th.
Yeah, so you wouldn't even crack the top 5. And that's fine. And again, that brings us back to the whole lifestyle choice, where Joanne's lifestyle is different than mine, but Joanne still deserves to have a reliable, functional firearm for self-defense. And that brings us back to the Glock 42, which increasingly this is looking like a commercial for the Glock 42. But Joanne, what I'm going to do, I've got a couple guns here, and I just want you to tell me what you think about them, all right? So, Glock 19, everybody loves the Glock 19, right? You know, I love the Glock 19. The whole internet loves the Glock 19. I'll just hand it to you cleared out. So, too big, so it's about the same size as your FNS, right?
Right.
Would you consider that something that you could realistically conceal carry, given the type of clothes that you like to wear and the fact that you're not willing to compromise your physical appearance to carry a bigger gun?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit boxy, a little bit big.
Exactly. And
tough.
again, we have my Beretta, which we've shown, and we have this other gun that we just got in here, and this is the Canik TP9 SF, same size as the Glock 19. So, again, what do you think? A little too big? Small?
Yeah, I think it's still a little
just
bit
a little
big.
bit much?
Yeah.
And that makes perfect sense. And that's what I want to wrap this video up on. If you're a woman and you are selecting a gun for concealed carry, it's hard for me to say this because I don't want to say don't listen to experts, because you should. We're going to recommend good guns and good gear. Have I ever recommended a shitty piece of gear to you?
Definitely not.
But you also have to bear in mind that different people have different lifestyle choices, right? You know, and again, Joanne's not going to spend $1,000 on a training class. I would, and I probably wouldn't go snowboarding either because I'm afraid of breaking my delicate little wrists. But the point here is that if you're selecting a gun, or if you're a man trying to help your partner select a gun for concealed carry, bear in mind that there are different lifestyle considerations that go into this. Just because I want to carry a compact Glock 19 sized gun all day and a reload and a knife and another knife doesn't necessarily mean that's the same lifestyle choice that someone else is going to make. Joanne, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I guess one other thing is don't be afraid, you know, if they're recommending a bigger gun and, you know, you think it's a good gun as well, you think it's cool, don't disregard the fact that you want something smaller to carry because you're too afraid to say, no, I want something smaller, because you know where you're going to put that gun. You know where you're going to carry it. You know the places you're going to go. You know what you're going to be wearing. So don't be afraid to say you want a smaller gun for the purpose of placing it where it's going to work for you.
And the last thing I do have to say, because I would be remiss to not say this, is if you do decide to buy a gun for concealed carry, and you're a man or a woman or I don't know, whatever all the new genders are that I'm learning about from Tumblr, take a class. And I know I just said that most people aren't going to want to do that, but at the very least, get some basic marksmanship instruction. If you can take a higher speed class, I recommend it. but at the very least, get some basic marksmanship instruction so that when you do need to put rounds down range, the rounds go where you want them to.
Okay.
I'm Caleb Giddings.
And I'm Joanne.
And until next time, remember, run your gun, not your mouth.